Hi, I'm Najmedin Meshkati, a professor, and my area of research deals with human systems integration, human factor safety culture in complex, large-scale technological systems like nuclear plant, aviation. Everywhere that you have a human or a group of human operators in a cockpit of an airplane running a safety-sensitive system, they are subject to several considerations that I'm interested in order to make this system safer, more resilient, and more reliable. Many of these technological systems are gradually removing human operator from the loop, like cockpit automation, like in several nuclear power plants. However, when something fails, it's at the end of the day the human operator that has to come and save the day and avert the disaster. A good example of that is Fukushima Daini.
The third looming disaster soon became clear. The Fukushima nuclear plant had been flooded too. Over the next few days, there were 3 nuclear meltdowns. It was the worst accident since Chernobyl.
Fukushima was not an act of God. Fukushima was preventable. There has been some sort of a culture and secrecy, lack of transparency in Japan, in the TEPCO, Tokyo Electric Power Company, and also government. It was up to the superintendent Masuda and his 200 operators that, based on their understanding of the system and improvisation, just like Captain Sully Sullenberger, they were able to save the day. In that case, what you see is the more this technology becomes complex, the more hazardous, the more safety sensitive, we need to have the human operators to understand the system, to have a total system comprehension, and to be able to take over. As you see this global pandemic, when something happens in one country affects the other one, like a nuclear accident, it doesn't get confined to the border of one country. These are transcending the border. The decisions that are made for immunizing population of one country can affect the infection rate in another country. The same thing about nuclear safety.
We start in Ukraine, where Europe's largest nuclear power plant in Zaporizhia, which is under occupation by Russian troops, has been disconnected from the national power supply for the first time in its history.
These operators, these Ukrainian operators who are operating this plant, they are under tremendous psychological stress. And a simple situation that could lead to human error and the propagation of the error, that also can lead to catastrophe. We don't need to have an explosion to cause the problem. This present situation is a pressure cooker for the poor operators. Learning lesson from past is very important, at least in the case of Fukushima. In his report that we should have learned from 3 Mile Island, from Chernobyl for Fukushima. My point is, in year 20XY, would we say that we should have learned from SL1, 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, and Fukushima for the next nuclear accident, or we have got enough learning? Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat that. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have 450 nuclear reactors in the world. 450. There are 55 more under construction. This is the lesson of Chernobyl that I would like to leave it with you, that we have to work hard to prevent the next Chernobyl.
It's been a turbulent 2024 so far for Boeing, with incidents ranging from gear malfunctioning to a mid-air fuselage blowout. Boeing's problems began almost 6 years ago when 346 people died after 2 of its 737 MAX airplanes crashed.
In Boeing, they say structures is the king because of the impact and importance that they have. If structures is the king, human factors and voice of pilot has to be at least the queen, because this is equally important as the structures. In our expert panel, we made 53 recommendations that Boeing, for a good reason, decided to accept all of them. These global challenges, as you see, that they really require scientists, engineers, politicians. They sit around the same table, under the same roof, literally and or figuratively, to to address these challenges in order to come up with a systems-oriented solution which is sustainable also, not something that they can do it today and it falls apart tomorrow. With Grand Challenges Scholars Program, I hope is to try to develop and to produce global engineers who understand global issues and can find solutions that looks at all the aspects of science, engineering, and diplomacy.